Even the longest life is a very short ride. We're all going to end up as dust. And what if the things that you now think are most important, like having a big portfolio and a nice title and lots of social media followers, and what if on the last hour of your last day, the things you thought were least important, like being the most honest person in the room, like doing your work like Picasso painted, even if you're sweeping streets, like leaving every person you met better than you found them, like doing difficult things in a world that wants you to take the easy route. What if those things were most important? You know, when I was growing up, my father said to me, he said, "Robin, when you were born, you cried while the world rejoiced." He said, "Son, live your life in such a way that when you die, the world cries while you rejoice." That's what real leadership is. Nothing wrong with doing nice things for yourself, but real leadership is finding a cause that's larger than yourself and then giving the rest of your life to it. There's a woman who is a very amazing woman because she is a leader even though she didn't have a title. This woman, she could have complained. She grew up in tremendous poverty, so much difficulty, suffered most of her life, one tragedy after another tragedy. There's a lot of victims in the world right now, and you can tell a victim because they give away their power to external things. They blame their childhood, they blame the global economy, they blame their boss, they blame their work, they blame their customers. It's all about blaming. Each time you blame, you give away your power. How do you take your power back? You do the difficult things you gave your power to. And this woman, she was a washerwoman. She would wash people's dirty laundry. She wasn't a prime minister or a president or a CEO. This woman washed other people's dirty laundry. First 87 years of her life, she actually never left her home except to buy groceries and to visit her church. She never learned how to drive, never got married, although when she was 87, she did say to her best friend that she was still looking for a good man. And yet by the time she passed away at the age of 91, she'd been honored by world leaders. She met with prime ministers and presidents. She'd even received an honorary doctorate from Harvard University. So who was this woman, and why did she receive such acclaim? Well, here's her story. Ever since she was a young woman, she would take the coins that she would make washing other people's dirty laundry, and she'd go down to her local bank, and she'd make these daily, seemingly insignificant contributions. Just like each and every day, you have the choice to make these daily, seemingly insignificant contributions. Maybe it's making a better habit. Maybe it's uplifting a teammate. Maybe it's reading something that'll enrich your wisdom. Maybe it's mentoring a child. And it's easy to think those little things that you can do every day don't make a difference. But small, daily, seemingly insignificant contributions, when done consistently over time, lead to stunning results. And so this woman would go to her bank every day and she'd make these deposits. And she did it with consistency because consistency is the mother of mastery. And the days slipped into weeks, the weeks slipped into months, the months slipped into years, and before she knew it, she was 87. She walked into her local bank. She smiled at the man who was behind the counter. He smiled at her. He said, "Osceola, do you have any idea how much money you've accumulated as a result of these small, daily, seemingly insignificant contributions?" And she said, "No, why don't you tell me?" And he said, "Osceola, you have accumulated $250,000. Well, Osceola was a simple woman. She did not know how much money that was. So the man behind the counter got an idea. He put 10 coins across on the counter and he said, Osceola, these 10 coins represent your money. What would you like me to do with it? She pointed to the first coin and said, I'd like you to give that to the church. She pointed to the next 3 coins and said, I would like you to give these to my nieces and my nephews and my cousins because I love them so much. And then a smile came to her face and she said, as for the remaining 6 coins, I have something very special in mind. 1 month later, the local university in Osceola McCarty's hometown received a check from her for $150,000 with a handwritten note attached to it that said, I would like you to set up a scholarship for poor African-American students who still know how to dream. Who dream of being leaders, who dream of being poets, who dream of being writers, who dream of being entrepreneurs, who dream of being firefighters in a world that has forgotten the importance of dreaming. We are so busy being busy, but what's the point of spending the best years of your life climbing mountains only to realize you climbed the wrong ones? A reporter tracked down Osceola and said, this is incredible. You are giving away all of your money. What's your dream? And she said, well, I'm an elderly woman and I know I won't live very long, but I so dearly wish that before I die, I could see the first recipient of my scholarship walk across the graduation stage. But I know because of my advanced age, that's probably not going to happen. And yet, my friends, 1 month before she died, the first recipient walked across the graduation stage. And after she died, another reporter tracked down the student and said, did you hear the news? Your benefactor has gone. Osceola has died. Do you have any comment? Student said, yes, I have a comment. Heaven couldn't have gotten a better angel. She was an inspiration. She was a treasure. She was a blessing to the entire earth. That's leadership.